It's obvious we have a little different setup tonight. I'll do my best to explain that the governor has given us a different directive till March 1. And that's going to be 10 people or less. And we wear masks and we distance and we take care of business. It's open to exception, and we ask for an exception that we be allowed 12. That allows for 8. It allows the press, and it allows Grant and 1 speaker. Therefore, if we had more than 1, we would want them downstairs, and then they can come up when this one leaves. So for the next 2 months, that's kind of going to be how, I kind of miss you up here, yeah. Joel.
I feel like I'm sitting in a hole.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Let's, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and start with the oath of office. And if you all would stand, please. When I say, please state your name, you would, I, Robert Goulet, okay, or something different. But please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, please state your name, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution
of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of Arkansas, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Alderman Ward 3, District 1, upon which I am now about to enter.
Okay, congratulations. You're part of this great team here for the next 2 years. Okay. And you will also notice we're going to be a little different remotely. That's going to be opened up to the public. So with that in mind, I call the meeting to order. Roll call, please. Roll call.
He's muted. Yeah.
Hey, Prod!
I like that.
Well, roll call.
Well, you're muted. Is it muted? Well, my TV muted.
Oh, you were talking and we didn't hear you. Okay.
Huh? I'm trying to, you two are sharing that one. Okay. But you guys will have to speak up so that that thing can hear you well.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. All right. Roll call, please. How's everything else?
You're not coming through, Jeff. No. No.
I see David's out there. He can. Here he comes back.
Well, sorry.
Thank you, Bob. We test this thing and test it. All day long we've been fiddling with this stuff.
What?
Your default speaker has...
Oh. You're going to have it today.
You folks that are new to us, that's David Wilson, our IT guy.
He's rebooted.
Hi, Jeremy.
Try that one more time.
No different here than your place, is it?
It's the world we live in now.
Yeah. unfortunate because Jeff works so hard on this stuff.
I was here 30 minutes earlier. We could have done that.
Well, we've had it up and going, I don't know. All right, let's try that again. Don't want me.
I can hear you fine there.
Hey, Mitch.
Gary, how are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
It's flashed red on the front of it then.
It's thinking about it now.
How many people we have zoomed in with us?
Right now, none.
Now you got lights on front.
5?
Did you hear me?
Probably department
Right
heads.
again.
Okay, now the owl's back up, see if it's working now, David.
Well, we got sworn in, so you guys are on the clock.
Pays the same whether you stay or.
Still not there, David.
Mary Jean, by the way, she told me all the time that the quorum court makes more money than you all.
They do,
They do?
They do.
yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's about $25 a month more.
Hey,
But you know,
that's 2 gallons
they
a
got,
gallon.
they got bigger territory to look after, you know?
Mute symbol just came up on the screen there.
I just tried to mute it and back on, I don't know why
Okay.
it's not working. TV's up, David.
Anybody need a restroom break?
Take it now, Jerry.
So we're getting video, it's just no audio.
No audio, coming from there.
Provide coffee for the old guys.
Well, I was gonna say, actually, this, we discussed this,
Oh,
and it's, common
and the
that
camera
new
searching
members
and looking.
pay older or established members of the council a fee when they come in.
So you're saying we all gotta pay Mary Jean?
Well, no, I'm saying the 3 new council members split a $250 payment to each one of the existing council, but I agree with Wayne Cohn on that, and I think we ought to reduce it to $100.
That's the best suggestion you bring out.
Sorry I brought that up.
All in favor, say aye.
I,
Jeff?
Now maybe it's working.
Yeah, that's working.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
thank you, David. Did you hear my music today? Oh, come on. I've been lonely too long. I played that for y'all. Okay, we'll go,
Can we, let's start roll call with you.
yes, we may.
And for you guys that are new, because there is a lag with this system between me talking and the microphone kicking back in, would you state your name and then your answer, like Jeremy Ragland, say Jeremy Ragland present, because it's not gonna catch your first name. Okay, so roll call, Jeremy Ragland,
Jeremy Ragland, present.
good job. Mary Jean Krieger,
Mary Jean Krager, present.
Mitch Magnus,
Mitch Magnus, present.
Larry Phillips,
Larry Phillips, present.
Bill Boswell,
Bill Boswell, present.
Robert Goulet,
Robert Goulet, present.
Joel Williams,
Joel Williams, present.
Wayne Cohn.
Wayne Cohn, present.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Wayne, if you would, say the prayer, please.
Everyone please stand. After the prayer, we'll please say the pledge. Let us pray. Our gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we come to you tonight, just wanting to say thank you. Thank you for these individuals gathered in this room tonight who are willing to dedicate this time in their life to do work for the people of the city of Harrison. Lord, tonight as we select these committees, we just ask that you be with us, guide and direct us in the committee selection. As we go through tonight with the business of the city, I just ask that you allow us to make sure that we always consider we're working for the residents of this city and not ourselves. Lord, go with us tonight, guide and bless us, in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Be seated. Okay, this is a organizational meeting, at which time I'll just turn it over to the committees and take it away, please. Speak.
To kind of help you stay on track, I have in front of you the standing committee worksheet, just blanks that you can fill in, deciding where you want to serve. And then I'm going to try to fill it in as we go on the screen as well, so we can keep track of everyone. The Community Environment Services and Welfare, that in the past had, Joel, that has been your committee. So you guys have to decide if anyone wants to change or if you want to keep your committees.
I'd recommend that we keep Joel Williams in that position.
Okay.
You need a second?
I don't believe that this requires votes.
Yeah,
No,
you guys are okay, but if somebody wants to recommend somebody, I think that'd be good, but. All right.
And then we would need to, anybody wants to serve on that committee, here's kind of your area of emphasis.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Jeff, could I make a comment?
Absolutely.
In the past, it's been common for you to serve on 2 committees. So, you know, it's completely up to the council and each individual member whether they want to be on one. But as these committees, as you do work, if you get on too many and there's 2 committees are bringing things to the council, it might be difficult to be completely prepared. So I just, you know, like saying, in the past, it's been just common to be on 2. We've had people on 3 or 4 of them, so it's up to you individually. So,
Okay.
Last year's committee here, I think the only one here present that was on there is Mary Jean and myself. And as a personal recommendation, I'd recommend that we put Mary Jean Frager back on there. And if you want me on there, I will accept it.
Okay. Agreed.
So is there a minimal number of members that need to be on a
We
committee?
had 6 on it last year.
Anybody else can?
Wayne, are you going to be on it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense for you to be on that.
No, I'm just asking, is there a minimum number we need on each one?
Yeah.
Not a minimum.
So,
On
the
any
committee could be
committee.
2, 3, 4?
generally where you have an area of interest.
Robert, I'd like to see you on this committee.
I think I had heard that Jeremy did have interest in Parks and Rec, and this would be one of those.
Yeah, he does, but he's going to be the liaison, the Parks and Rec liaison.
I actually have an interest in public safety. And
So you can be there also.
Okay, Robert?
I mean, if we're just talking interest
Okay.
and not going specific committees, I think my experience would probably be good on resource and policy because of my grant work in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of grants are in public works, so I'd be glad to do that as well. But I'm open to whatever you need me to do.
Each committee can have, all of us, last year, the Finance Committee has everybody. So if it's something you're interested in, then I would recommend you get on that committee, on each committee we've got. And there's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 committees.
Yeah.
And I was on every committee last year except one.
Are we okay if we were to identify the chairs first and then let the chairs take care of their committees?
We've got to identify Joel this year.
Right.
But
So who else wants to be on there with Joe? We have Mary Jean and Wayne.
Robert, are you gonna be on there?
I've kind of got my mind set on a couple of other things, I'll see if those are available first.
Okay, well, they will be if you want to be.
would it help if I
Yeah.
read who was on the committee last year,
Sure.
on each one of them? On Community Environment Services and Welfare, there was Chris Head, Mary Jean Kreger, Linda DeWall, Keith Kirkpatrick, and Wayne Coleman.
Yeah, so you lost 3.
That's why I was asking, is there a minimum number we have to have on it?
No,
So it could be 2, it could, yeah.
Could be any
It can be any number.
This could be a very active committee this year.
You do need 3, that way when the committee comes up to vote on something, you can have 2 against 1. If 2 only gives you a 1-1 vote.
I would be willing to serve on that. I'd be happy to if we need something.
So you got Jeremy.
So I had Jeremy,
Yeah.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. We really need 1 more on it for voting purposes.
I can do that.
Larry wants to be on.
Larry Phillips, good.
Larry.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and take finance at this point. I was the chair last year.
And I would recommend that you do it again this year.
Let me get a breath here.
Again, I will recommend that you do it
Okay.
again this year.
And next year, and a year after.
Okay, so I will take the chair of finance, and again, last year, in fact, for the last 2 terms, all members have been on. Does everyone want to serve on finance?
Yes, sir.
I think
Okay.
so.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay?
You're
Mine's
done?
easy, I'm done.
That's easy. Okay. This was Linda last year, was it not?
Mr. Phillips.
Yeah,
there's what that one looked like last year,
yeah.
Yeah, you get that.
internal affairs right here.
I do have an interest in internal affairs, whether I can lead it or not, I'm not sure.
Sure you can.
Oh, go ahead, we trust
Well,
you.
let's do our chairs first. Mr. Phillips, you willing to take that, or you?
Sure.
You want to be chairman of that?
I don't know what it entails, but sure.
Okay.
Who's that?
Well, Larry has offered up,
It's fine.
so does Robert.
Okay.
I would suggest that we give it to Larry since Linda had it the last time.
Okay. What, okay. Same ward? Is that what that thought was, or?
Same ward.
Okay. Okay, Larry, you're the chair of that,
And I'm willing to serve on it as I did last year.
and I know Robert would want to.
I will.
Okay, we got you and Robert.
Mary Jean was on there last year.
No problem, I'll be glad to serve again.
Okay, we got Bill. Who else? Did you say you were, Wayne?
Mary Jean.
Mary Jean.
Mary Jane, okay. That's right, she was there with Linda.
Yeah.
That's right, okay. Is that, there's not a whole lot involved in that committee, as we know, but when something does happen,
You gotta have.
it's a pretty important deal, and we had something last year, so.
Well, with the new facility being
Oh.
built, it could be a good one this year.
Do I have it correct on the screen?
Yeah.
Ms. Robert,
You do.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think you misspelled Mr. Gillet's name.
No R
Oh,
and,
Gorlin.
okay.
New guy.
Good job. Public safety. Who was that last year?
Me,
Okay, and I believe you want that.
yes,
Okay.
for my last run.
Maybe I'd like to join you on that.
I want to be on that one also.
Yeah, Robert would want to be on that, and so
Oh,
would
my.
Wayne.
Now we have 2 ex-policemen.
And I want to be on it too.
Joel, I got you. You got,
Mayor, let me correct you on that statement. There's no such thing as ex-policeman. Once a policeman, you're always.
kind of like a Marine, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
Sorry, Wayne.
Were you?
That's different from fireman though.
Did you say she,
Oh.
you were sorry?
You're gonna get up on me, ain't you?
Yeah, me too. All right.
Were there any others?
Anybody else on public safety? Guess
We
that's
got
it.
Bob, who's the other?
Wayne.
We need one more.
Need another one. All righty.
Jeremy, how about, would you be interested in that one?
Well, I would be starting to stack up, and I'm really interested in being on resources and policies because of grants and funding.
Larry Phillips.
Ooh, resources and policy.
Larry Phillips said he would be.
Hey, Bill.
Larry. Okay.
Larry's on that also. Okay, good. We got Public Works. Boy, that's a good one.
All right, I'd like to go back and be the chairman of that. I did that 2 years ago. Chris and I swapped.
Yeah,
You just want to get rid of me.
I'd like to go back and be the chairman of that.
yeah.
You want to move back to Lake.
Well, I think there will be no argument on that, Bill. You did a great job.
I'd like to follow up on your bill, there's no objection to that?
You want to be on it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And I want to be on it.
Okay, Joe.
And I will be on it.
And Wayne, this is a good one. It's all,
It's a good committee.
yeah, real good committee.
Yeah,
Especially when we have Wade
we're
helping
very
us.
blessed to have
Jeremy,
Wade.
you got that?
Yeah.
Jeremy's not on there.
I was looking at the sheet of writing, no, it's not.
All right, I
Okay.
got Jeremy and Joel, who else?
Jeremy is not.
Take
Robert and Joel.
It's Robert Goulet.
Robert and Joel. And I think Wayne did.
Corlett.
Yeah, Wayne also.
Wayne also.
That is okay.
All right.
Cone, C, here you go. Robert. Don't you have a smart, there you go.
Hey, Larry has left this over.
Jeremy.
Okay.
Was there a fourth one for Public Works?
Oh, think so.
Don't think so.
Joel.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the resources and policy chair, that is a very time-consuming, it's a lot like finance, it's a time-consuming chair position, so.
Jeremy, I think, volunteered, didn't
No,
he?
I was volunteering to be on.
Jeremy Ragland.
What's that?
Chair of that.
I said I volunteered to be on the committee.
You would be a great chair for that committee, just my opinion, folks.
No one's chomping at
Chair.
the bit to do
No,
it.
It's a tough one. Jeremy or Wayne. That's my opinion. Jeremy or
Wayne
Wayne.
wants to be the chair, I'd be glad to serve on
I have done it before.
You want to chair it, Wayne?
I'll do it.
Okay, good.
it. You and
Well, I knew it was going to be you or Jeremy.
It's a very busy committee.
Oh, I didn't realize it last year, man.
Very busy. Everything we do goes through that
I
committee.
will serve on that committee.
Okay,
And I'll be glad to serve also.
I
okay,
think I'll throw my hat in as well.
okay. Jeremy, Bill, Robert,
Is that
Mitch.
everybody on resources and policy?
Robert Goulet.
Robert?
And that one you want, yeah.
Yeah,
He's up there.
That's it, Greg.
Yeah.
That it?
That's it.
That's all of them.
Planning Commission liaison?
That was Joel, and Joel,
You stay there?
you want to stay with that?
I'll stay with it.
Okay.
You're doing good.
Yeah. He does good on those.
I think Jeremy should be on Parks and Rec.
Yes, matter of fact, folks, I
You
think.
do that, you got a conflict.
Well, this is one thing they kind of even requested, because they want Jeremy there. But now that he's already serving, he served on the commission. And now they requested that he be the liaison to Parks and Rec.
So is he going to resign his commission?
That'd become-
Yes, yes,
the commission doesn't exist.
Right, commission does not exist.
But the
The
advisory
committee does.
The committee does, yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there a position on the committee that is a city councilman anywhere?
That's what we want him to be.
Well, that's different from this one, isn't it?
it's different than being a liaison.
But he's a voting member, not a non-voting.
Right, right.
And it says
Yeah, I think
non-voting.
this is, it still says.
The wording on this form may be wrong now that we're.
I believe it is.
advisory.
Yeah, I think the new committee, the councilman is a voting member of the group.
He is, you're correct, but this is what we're referring to here.
So now you've got an open slot on the committee.
And I think we filled those, or we're about to.
You will fill that.
We will fill those,
So
yes.
Jeremy becoming the city councilman slot, then you'll have another slot.
That's correct. We have 2 slots, you're correct. And we're going to have recommendations for those 2 slots. But it's just a natural that it be Jeremy, guys. Hello? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
You
I
have
said
to
I'll
guard
do
your
it.
name in
Yeah.
there.
Okay. Well, they requested it, and I've watched him on that, and
Mayor?
so, yes.
Can we ask the attorney your opinion on this with them being in both positions at the same time?
Yeah, so I'm reading the ordinance. Get here so everyone can hear me. I'm reading the ordinance for the dissolving the Parks and Rec. Position 1 on the advisory committee will be appointed by the mayor, and it's a city council member. Then positions 2, 3, 4, and 5 are simply appointed by the mayor. So there will be, I don't know what we're calling liaison. I'm not familiar with that term, but if it's, there will be a position appointed by the mayor that is a council member that would be a voting member on the committee. So if that's what we're talking about.
In the past, has been, that they basically come to the council, besides the parks director, and make comments. They were a city council member essentially recording what happened at parks meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
Essentially, that position, if you have a serving member on the commission, I don't know why you would have a liaison.
You wouldn't. I was just going to say that. You actually need to cross out liaison.
Well, I think we're making a mountain out of a molehill.
We are.
The simple thing is that Jeremy becomes the city's representative from the mayor.
On the commission.
And then his seat in the commission is now, or the committee is now open.
Yeah, the committee.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we'll recommend for that.
That's
Right. And it's a voting position, so.
It is.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
voting position. They're all voting positions. That's correct.
That particular position, we have to vote on later, right?
Yes, yes. I'll give that to you at council, I
Yeah, I
believe.
know, but I just want to let them know, we do approve him being there, so. When we vote for him.
Oh, you approve him at council?
When you make your appointment, we approve your appointment.
Yes, you approve the appointment.
Right, yeah, no business would be done in appointing. It would be just simply if Jeremy expresses an interest tonight, my recommendation would be in the next council meeting, you provide your appointment of Jeremy, your recommendation, as well as the other members of
As
the
well as
committee.
the others. Okay, good. All 3 will be recommended at council. And, okay. So now we're down to
Professional care.
care board.
Mary Jane?
We all know I like 2 things. I like Christmas lights and cemetery.
All right, so Mary Jean.
Go ahead and said that.
Mary Jean, Jeff, you got her. CATPC,
Who's this?
it's just one, Mary Jean's on there. Well, yeah, 2 positions. And Mary Jean's was,
Who's the other one?
Heath was, yes. So if Mary Jean wants to stay, we have 1, 2.
Wayne has served on that commission, with CDD before.
And I will serve on it
Okay.
this year if you want me to.
So we got Mary Jean and Wayne. Okay,
Wayne comes, Jeff.
yeah, okay, Wayne, thank you.
Welcome back, Wayne.
Yeah, stay healthy,
You got
man.
it.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem,
Last year it was Wayne.
it was Wayne. We got a lot of Wayne going on.
I would love to do that again.
You got it,
I
Wayne.
know I can handle it for you if it need be.
I know you can. Thank you.
In fact, we might refer him, don't push it too hard, Jim.
Wayne, yeah. Okay.
That's it.
Does that take care of business, folks? Okay, I need a motion that we adjourn the special council.
Is there any changes to dates and times?
Oh, good one, yeah. I'm good with what we got. You all good? You all good? Okay. We're good with that, Jeff?
I'm a grandpa that won't miss football games. So.
Now, on the date and time, do we have to make a motion, do we have to make a motion to change everything?
Yeah.
We probably need to make a motion in council to do this.
Okay,
And if you're still in council, you can do that now.
we're still in council. We have not adjourned. You make the motion, Wade?
Yes.
Okay. Have a motion by Wayne, a second by Mary Jean. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay. Time remains the same. All right, guys.
Now we,
Motion to adjourn?
so moved.
Second.
Joel and Bill, and all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, let me find my agenda. Let's continue on and start the committee meeting. That won't require a roll call or anything. So, Joel?
Yeah, I have one thing. Mary Jean,
Yes,
Okay,
Christmas lights.
yes, all Christmas lights have been taken down. And they have been put and installed for years by volunteers. Well, the mayor has reached out to several different churches and stuff to see about getting help, and has had very little response, if any. And I would like to see that the city takes over the installation. We have the equipment, and we also have extra personnel, and they can work with the people that have been doing it to kind of, this way we will have a contingency of, and we will still have Christmas lights, because we know how I am about Christmas lights.
I don't necessarily object to that, but I have a problem with it. For the simple reason is that I've helped, and I've watched primarily Rick and Liz and Matt. I don't know where the so-called extra people are gonna come from, and where the extra equipment's gonna come from. So when they're putting up lights, our people are working, doing their job, whatever that job may be.
Right.
And to take them off of their working positions and/or say, hey, could you help on a weekend, I think one would be obligated to pay some sort of overtime, because they are considered city employees unless they sign some sort of waiver that says they're gonna do this for nothing, which I doubt. I wouldn't.
yeah, no, they're not
I
going
mean,
to.
I totally understand. It's the volunteer situation. I don't have a solution to that, but I really have a problem of assuming that our people will do it, and the problem is it takes them away from their job.
Yeah. This year, it just seems like volunteers are pretty much going away. They're not what they used to be. It's really hard to get the volunteers. We know we still have Rick and Matt and Liz, and Liz's husband, I believe, and there may be one or two more, but it's really down to a handful of people, and they get worn out, and they're at that point. What I don't want to happen is, if you all remember years ago, we had, I can remember Tom Arnold, I think, got involved and got volunteers, went a few years, and then we went dark for a few years, and then Steve Pedersen did it, and we went dark, and now these guys have been doing it for several years. So I think we'll go dark again if we don't figure out a way to help them. This last week, we took it down, and we gave them 5 people, 3 from Public Works. Wade was able to break away 3, and we got 2 from Parks. And it was amazing what they got done in a day and a half. So it seems when you got the right people and the right equipment, it can get done even a little better than it had in the past. I think this has been one of the better years. The square and this tree over here, it's been just wonderful. So I think we need to figure out a way to use our people or contract. And Luke, are you on the call? This is something Luke came up with.
Yeah, I'm here.
You want to share your thoughts on that? Because you mentioned contracting, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I know there are some outfits that do residential places, but I believe there may even be some over in the Northwest Arkansas or maybe Springfield area that would do commercial Christmas lights. Not that I want to take away from those that are interested in helping out with it, but I really think that probably makes the most sense going forward to at least, bring in another outfit to either help. Maybe those volunteers would want to stay on and maybe supervise. I don't really know. Haven't really talked to them about it, but I think that's a decent option going forward if we set aside something every year to help put it on.
Do we have an approximate cost contractor?
We don't. We have no idea. We're wanting to start a discussion now. We don't have to come up with the answers tonight because they're all down, and we've got a while, but if we can start this discussion now. Rick, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
You wanna comment on what you've heard so far?
I'm sorry, one more time?
Go ahead and comment. What's your feelings going forward? What can we do to help you guys?
Well, we're in the middle of a kind of a pickle here, guys. For the last 20 years, it's been through the Historic Harrison Business Association, and they have decided to drop it. So the last 2 years, we're sitting with our butts hanging out in the wind because there is no insurance for your volunteers. If anybody got hurt or anything got damaged, we do not have the insurance. To get professional people to come out and do it will cost between $10,000 and $25,000. There is no answer. We're kind of stuck in the middle of this limbo, and yeah, the volunteers this year, and it's not just in this, everything, there was no volunteers. We tried to approach churches and everything else, and it's pretty much was the same group, and taken 7 to 8 weeks of our time to get this stuff up. And it was really nice. I do want to thank the city for the workers and the people from the parks. They came and helped us bust them down, and we did it pretty much in a record time.
Matt, Bell, any thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of share his opinion on having professional install. I think it's overpriced. I'm more in tune with giving those volunteers, from the, not volunteers, the public works employees and the Parks and Rec employees. The advantage of utilizing Parks and Rec guys, if they were to put it on their schedule, and I can't speak for Chuck and Jerry Farmer, but if they put it on their schedule, it would help, because their seasons are pretty much over when it comes time to install Christmas lights.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you talk about mid-November, you're right before leaf pickup, and that's something that hits Wade pretty hard. And then also with parks, I believe that would be a slower time.
Well, the lights have to be up on November the 15th.
Right, that's before the leaf pickup.
Yeah.
I don't know, we could go forward and talk to Chuck and Farmer and Wade a little more and see if that's something they can do and maybe bring you back a proposal. But I really like the fact that we're starting that discussion.
Hey, Rick, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
This is Wayne. As far as keeping the volunteers in it's been in the last couple of years, do you not have to prepare before you put them up a session of repairing them and replacing and everything like that on the roofs that your local they could be involved in that part of it, having a problem.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, what, it's the putting up and taking down is where we're needing the help. We still have the volunteers and can get volunteers because before the lights go up, we basically check everything over, reflood the reefs, fix anything that needs to be fixed. We've got an ongoing project with the college right now for all those reefs that are in the park to remodify the clamps on them and stiffen them out so they'll stay where they're supposed to.
That still gives the local people that want to volunteer at parks they can be involved in.
Yes, sir.
It takes quite a while to check all of those.
Yeah.
If you guys are okay with it, we can look into it a little further, bring you something back maybe in February.
The fire department put up the super tree, right?
They did the super tree, and that's something Rick and Matt, I'd like you guys to think about. Is that a tree we want to continue? Do you think about that? Because we kind of did that separate this year, the city did it. And so, if not, you'll have a lot of nice lights added to yours, but if you want to continue with that tree, I know the homeowners would love it. They were so excited. Mary Jean, I think you wanted to talk about buying some replacement bulbs?
Yes. This time of year, the bulbs are on sale. And they're on sale for approximately half price. So I think we need to go ahead and purchase the replacement bulbs while we can get 2 for 1.
Yeah, hey, Rick?
Yes.
How many do we need to buy, replacement bulbs?
Well, when we came to you this year for lift money and bulb money, we spent the bulb money maybe just a little bit over what we had estimated. But in turn, out of the $1,000 we budgeted for the lift, we only used $200 of it. So you guys returned the $800 back to you or whatever overage was on the bulbs, but we're not talking $20, $30 difference on that. So you guys got to retain about $800. As far as the bulbs we did order this year, we are out. We used every one of them, and actually the bulbs that we pulled off the city hall that were not the greatest. They're been a lot of hours put on them. Those actually got put back up in other spots. So at this point here, I don't want to spend any more money than we have to. I've been asking for the last 4 years to try and get in budget each year $2,500, and that would cover any lifts that we had to. This year, the reason why we saved money is, Matt might be able to correct me on this, but Roger Turner for the last 4 years has brought his SkyTrack down and donated it to us. And, I'm going to say something real quick and get off before we get any further. I appreciate the plaque that the city did put out for the Light Up Harrison effort. And I really, to me, the one that puts that machine out to keep us all going is Roger Turner. And that's kind of the person that I would actually have to say he really does deserve it because he has put a lot out there for us. And then Davis Construction brought us in a second lift, and that gave us the ability to go ahead and get it down in a day and a half. Actually, if you put the hours together, we got it done in 8 hours.
That's
so
great.
It really went quick this year.
That's great. How many bulbs, what do we need to spend on bulbs, Rick?
Going into this next year, it depends on if we get your bulbs off your tree there. Actually, I want to use those on the 4th of July. But probably somewhere around, I think we ordered 2,000 bulbs and we ran out. But if we end up pulling, it'd be around that. And guys, that's a quick estimate on the deal is it's around $1.08 a bulb. Now the strand did go up this last year from 365 to 495, but since I've been dealing with these guys for so long, that the extra strand that we bought, the strand that went up on the new tree and all, we did get it at 365.
Well, that's because you've been doing business with them, and they recognize.
Temple has been really good to work with us. When we started this project 4 years ago, competitors was at $2.10 a bulb. And Temple came in and give them to us for $1.08 a bulb, and has not changed that on us yet.
Okay. You have a motion?
Can we have an estimated cost by the time we meet the full council?
Yeah, yeah.
2160.
Is that something you can give us, Rick, in 2 weeks, estimated cost, and the committee can take it from there?
Yeah, we can go through and figure it out, and, yeah, that should be good. And I think on the Reese with the college, I mean, we're gonna be doing some major modifications to that, so, the van clamps that came with these things are really hard to work with, easy to cut your hands with, and hard to take down because it's kind of a flimsy type of setup. But I think at that, even that stuff, we can get either donated or, you know, we're gonna do our best to do our best if we can.
Okay, Mary Jane, you want to just move that on to full council?
Yes, I make a motion, we move it to council.
Okay, we'll have you a number by then. I had a motion?
I'll make it. I make the motion.
Okay, and we got a second.
Well, no, he's the chair. He
Okay.
must be conducting the vote.
I'll say.
Second.
Okay,
Yeah, me or Jeremy.
all in favor? Okay, anyone opposed? Okay,
We'll
good.
have it ready by the 4th of July.
Yeah, thank you, Mary Jane. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Matt. I don't know if Liz is up there, but thank you all.
Liz will be watching.
Let's, Mitch.
Yes. And in finance, you have financials that are out on Google Docs. The quick rundown on them, we have 2 sets. If you take a look at October and November together, the summary sheet of the balances and surpluses, we're actually about $252,000 to the good in November. As compared to the budget, so we have budgeted deficit of 228 coming into a surplus of 133. I will remind council we have 1 more month, December, and there'll be bills coming in all the way through February. So we don't need to count our chickens yet.
Right.
As always. That being said, if you take, and I'm giving you a quick rundown of what Luke and I have been discussing. If you take a look at the only deficit right now that we have true deficit in spending is in the water department. And once again, we've raised rates to try and stem some of this decline in the reserves, as we're looking at a current deficit of $248,000. I believe, and Luke, correct me if I'm wrong, you're somewhat pleased with that at this point. It's a little better than we thought it was going to be, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So in our discussions, again, that is the only fund that will be in deficit at the end of November. Again, I'll caution you, we have another month and a half or 2 of expenses.
Mitch, was our surplus for October, November due to real estate tax revenue?
Luke, can you comment on that?
Yeah, so we usually get more of a surplus in September, October. November is a little bit higher, but it's not near as much as the oomph we get in September and October for property taxes.
Okay.
Our biggest month is definitely October, with our second highest month being September. So we typically see a surplus or an increase in our surplus in those months, and then we kind of hang on for dear life as we get towards the end of the year.
Now, there will be a bump for end of the year Christmas purchases, because we're still 2 months out on sales tax receipts. So we will see a little bit of a bump there, but like I say, I don't know that it will offset the additional expenditures. The good thing is that we're currently in a surplus, $133,000.
Yeah, we still have sales tax receipts for November and December coming,
Right.
so,
That's what I'm
and
saying.
we're expecting those to be good.
Right, you make the assumption during the Christmas holiday, and it's, we hope that those sales tax numbers are bumping up, but we'll get those, we won't get complete December until sometime in February. So,
Yeah.
but that's pretty much it unless somebody has any, Luke put these up earlier in the week. I've started through them, kind of concentrated more on November. There's nothing really that stands out. That deficit or surplus actually went up $6,000 between the difference, at least in our budgeted deficit and the actual number, went up about $6,000 to the good in November versus October. But all in all, everything is what we would expect at this point in the year.
And for you folks that just joined us, I don't know if you went through the budget process, but we passed the budget maybe about a month ago.
In November, yes.
In November, yeah, a little more than a month. And we passed a balanced budget, so hopefully we can meet that. It looks like we're going to do well this year. Any questions from you guys that you might have on finance?
I will point out the one thing that when you're looking at the city financials, there's quirky parts to this, that as money is coming in based on the ordinance, that, and I've made this point, we used to have a little a seminar on city finances, and we may have to do that again if any of the new members or older members, existing members, want to go back through and look at this, because it is a little bit different based on the ordinance of public safety, and because of that, there are some little quirks to the system that if we ever get into a deficit in for the total of the city, the only place that the general fund would take the hit on that, because public safety, both fire and police, are based on budgeted revenues. So once we've set the budget, they're getting that money. If we come up short, the only place that money can come from is the general fund. So and there's a few other quirky things about city finances, the way it's currently structured. And you will find the new members as the existing members of the council. You got nobody better looking after this than Luke Fire.
And I believe Luke is going to set a meeting. Luke, are you going to offer that again this year?
Yeah, I was actually hoping about 30 minutes before the council meeting on the 28th, for those that want to come. So at 5:30 on the 28th, I'll do a budget 101, come in there and kind of explain a little bit of how the fund financials work. It's a lot different than what just a regular P&L or income statement if you look at one of those. So, yeah, whoever wants to come, if you just getting on, or if you've been there for a couple of years, if you want to come sit in on the budget 101. I've also been asked by Mr. Boswell if I would do a 201 or a 202, and I'll start working on something like that to go a little bit more in depth as well.
So 5:30 on the 28th for especially you guys and anybody else too. Here, we'll do it right here before the council.
Any other questions on financials, anything that comes up?
Okay, good job, Mitch.
Mitch, I do have one other thing, just to kind of bring up if you don't care.
Sure. Go ahead.
So we did get our audit exit conference for the legislative audit just this week. Happened on, I believe, Tuesday or maybe even yesterday. I'm sorry, my days are running together right now, but all good. We did have one comment. I know our goal was to not have any comments this year, but we did have the one. It stems from whenever the people from California, whoever they may be, found our bank account information and took about $3,900, I believe. We did get that back, but since it was fraud, our legislative auditors said it was mandatory that it had to be wrote up. So that is one comment we're going to have. Again, that's not too bad considering, but obviously we try to have none. The one was just not, we couldn't help it. So we have some other things we'll have to work on, but for the most part, I thought a pretty good clean on it.
Okay. Thank you. Internal Affairs, Larry, what do you have going on?
Yeah,
We scheduled 10 minutes for your report. I'm sure you don't have anything tonight, but if you care to say anything, Larry, it's your committee, so.
Mayor, we have nothing at this point.
Excellent.
Thank you. That sounds like Joel. Bill, you're, I believe that's you, isn't it? Next, Public Works, yes.
Did we skip public safety?
We did, I'm sorry. I saw Mary Jean and I knew she had already had it. Who's Public Safety now?
Mary Jean.
Oh, Mary Jean.
Well, covered it.
That's right, you kind of jumped out there.
Sorry.
No, that's fine, Mary Jean. You don't have anything else to report there,
No.
do you? Okay, good. Bill?
Nothing at this time. Wade and I will get together as we did in the past. We always met, usually the Wednesday before council and committee. That way we came back to the council and committees with the down and dirty as to what was going on.
Very well informed.
And dealing with Wade like dealing with Luke, they make the job of a councilman very easy, so.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll have some fairly good news to present to you and, come back and share with us. Let's go on to, I look down here and I see Bill Boswell into that, but that's going to be Wayne.
That's gonna be me. And tonight, on the agenda, we show the ordinance, rezoning 214 West Ridge coming up on its third reading at council meeting.
Okay. So we'll pass that on.
Do they have anything to say about that? Have they heard anybody from anybody or anything like that?
Haven't heard anything.
Okay, before I get to the resolution, Mayor, this one that was given to us tonight, Jeff brought this and gave it around, it's ordinance adding additional language in section 2.16.03 of the Harrison City and declaring emergency. This is in reference to the Freedom of Information. I hope everybody's had a chance to look at that maybe and see if we want to move that on to the council also.
And it allows us to conduct business over Zoom, which has been a good thing and will continue to be, so.
And I did read it, and I don't find any mistakes, any question on it, so.
I would make a motion to move it on.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to move this ordinance on the council. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
All opposed, like sign.
all right.
Mayor, I'll turn it over to you on the resolution for independent living.
Okay, and I am going to, I got a call about a month ago from Corinne Westcott. She's the Director of Independent Living, does a wonderful job, and she asked me if we could renew the lease. I didn't know what lease she was talking about, but it's a lease for property they have up on North Robinson. It's a building that contains, Jeff, you've got some pictures up there. Here's one of their offices. They have mainly storage for families that are going to be set up on their own. They'll have some furniture, and you can see on the shelves kitchen stuff and stuff like that. And then in addition to that, they have a little workshop area that they use for repairs. So they have a lease. They had a 5-year lease. It expired in May. And I think, Grant, did you get a copy out to folks on that? I know this is for discussion, but we needed to have that.
Yeah, I prepared one, but it looks like the last lease.
Looks like the last
I
one.
sent it to Bill. Of course, Wayne is now the chair of the committee. I believe you've seen it, Mayor, and Bill has seen it. It essentially is a 2-page lease. It looks like the previous one. I'm happy to send it out, but it requires a few other things and other underlying contracts that I wanted to maybe get finished before I put out, but I'm happy to send to council as well.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
And Wayne, we had quite a conversation this afternoon on the phone, and we didn't know what committees we do. I'm just trying to help out. I think the right thing to do here is, without getting too far into this, because there's some questions in regards to the lease. And what I told Grant, and he kind of agreed, is that probably Grant needs to visit with the Legal Council for Independent Living, and as well, Mr. Mayor, you need to visit with Corinne. Mostly to make sure we're legal. those of us that know independent living, that have been around it, it is a wonderful, wonderful, asset to our community that fills in for, if you've never been over there, you have no idea. And not only do they have the workshop and everything, and they also have housing facilities and all the things they do. So, my suggestion was to Grant is to get with, I guess, Corinne, and also to get with their legal counsel, because I'm sure they've got one for the size of the organization they are. And they need to work that out and then come back to us as to what's the right thing to do.
I like that idea.
Is that, Wayne, is that acceptable with you?
That's acceptable, but I want to go ahead and say something too. I was on the board of independent living for 20-something years.
Wow.
And I was involved in the initial lease of this building.
Oh, okay.
And I remember the old lunchroom facility for the old school up there is what I remember it as. But they have been good tenants, but like we all said, they're super good people. They do a lot for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I would like to sit with them too. So, and I'd be willing to look at your lease and see what we're going to present.
Was this building once the housing?
Say again?
Was this once the housing?
Not that I know of. I don't believe so. Housing, yes. Harrison Housing Authority. Yeah, they were in there. That's correct. That's the, yeah. But there was never housing in there.
Right.
It was their office. Yeah.
HHA was in there.
No, I echo exactly what Bill and Wayne said. What a wonderful operation, organization. So if we can figure out a way to get this done like we did last time, it'd be wonderful. But we'll leave that up to the attorneys and go from there. Okay, where was that? I guess that was under Wayne, but you threw it to me, so that we pretty much got that identified. Old business, we don't have any. New business, we're down to you, Mr. Larching. If you would. Yes, sir, Bob.
Okay.
You are one.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and City Council. Jeff, would you bring up the PowerPoint charts? I'm here this evening to present to you the fourth quarter economic development report in accordance with the agreement that the city and chamber had last year, and which you were kind enough to authorize the mayor to sign and enter into for 2021. Next chart. This is the mission of the chamber as an economic development organization. That's the mission, and our agenda is there. Next chart. I would like to simply start off by thanking the three new councilmen. We had the opportunity to meet with them at the chamber prior to their swearing in this evening to go through and review for them the chamber's responsibility for economic development, to give them an update on what we had been doing up through the first week or the last week in November when we met. So I appreciate their attention, their attendance, their questions, and we would do this in the future as we have done for the quorum court new members. Next chart. I want to start off with an overview that I think demonstrates a lot of the detail that follow. 2020, we came out strong without any knowledge that we would, or forethought that we would. A couple of data points. To the best of our knowledge, we had in excess of 1,000 people unemployed by the third week in April of last year. Closed businesses for the hospitality industry, certainly a lot of service industries. We had two major pauses in production for two of our largest industries. A long story short, our business community came back exceptionally strong. Every single one of our 14 prime businesses, our industries, came out ahead of where they were forecast for 2020 without COVID. They met or exceeded their expectations. Every one had increased production throughout 2020. I will tell you that that's very unusual in the state of Arkansas and anywhere within several hundred miles of here. We read about the unemployment still today, where cities, counties, and states are locked down in their work environments. It's devastating. Some businesses have not been open for 10 months now. We're fortunate we had great support from the governor of Arkansas, who did not close down business. And we can attribute the success we had in the Harrison and Boone County area specifically to his desire to keep that going. And during the year, we had some pretty great things happen to us. We received 2 grants, one from the University of Central Arkansas for the Community Catalyst program. That program, we were one, Harrison was one of 5 municipalities in the state that received a grant to participate in a multi-year Community Catalyst program. Rather than going through the details of this, we did report that to you earlier, it got put on hold. It was announced March the 1st and on March the 17th, it was put on hold. We were able throughout the course of the year in the fall and August, September, to begin to work with UCA Entergy as one of the co-sponsors and the University of Southern Mississippi to start the process. We've learned a new planning process. The goal of Community Catalyst is to understand specific needs of the community, form small groups, and go solve issues. We are doing that. We've instituted one already. One of the leadership groups in our program has already taken off on one of those programs. It's going to be exciting for us. We've identified the projects through the community survey that many of you participated in and read about earlier last week. And the survey pinpointed what's important to the citizens of the community. And it now gives us a path to go on. So Community Catalyst, one of only 5 in the entire state of Arkansas. Second, thanks to the Northwest Arkansas Economic Development District, Harrison was one of a handful of communities to receive a $35,000+ grant to participate in the Retail Academy. Retail Academy, without going into a lot of detail, though we've talked about it in the past, is to educate community leaders on the value of retail, identify your market area, and then, most importantly, how do you recruit those retail businesses to your community? I want to give you just a couple of highlights of the Retail Academy. We have defined, with their data points, have defined a market area within 20 miles of the Walmart in Harrison. That market area is valued at $964 million in goods and services. Yes, that's almost $1 billion. The supply of goods and services in that area is 820 million. And that leaves a gap of $143 million in retail services in our defined market area. We know who it is. We know where they're located. We know the retail owners' names. And we now have a game plan to go out and recruit those businesses to fill that gap. It's an exciting program. We're thrilled to be part of it. We sit down in 2 weeks to further our education with the Retail Academy. It's a great program. It's provided tons of data, but most importantly, the know-how, the check marks of how to go do what we need to do. We've had an ongoing discussion with final mile distribution centers. We have had 5 inquiries over the last 5 months to establish a small warehouse for the final mile distribution. We haven't been successful, though many of those are still in progress. And this past Monday, 3 days ago, I had a site selector in town. We visited 5 locations to identify within a 20-mile radius of Harrison, Arkansas, a national company that wants to establish a distribution center. We think we've made some progress there. That's a little bit of what's been going on. But I want to highlight for you what actually occurred, and that's the investment continues to rise through the community. Prime businesses in 2020 invested $5.8 million in goods and services and materials. This is not counting salary and payroll. It's simply investment in buying things and services in Harrison and Boone County. We've got $11.5 million forecast. Main Street businesses, $31 million was invested in calendar year 2020, and $10.5 million is forecast in the months ahead. Some examples of the Main Street: the Duncan business, Planet Fitness, the Walmart Vision Center, and one of the 2 Flex Steel buildings sold. Only took a year and a half to do that. We see investment continuing to grow each and every day. This week at the Chamber, we've had 2 new businesses walk in to say, we're here in Harrison. Small. The point is, though, they're businesses that are bringing jobs in needed areas. From a workforce standpoint, we had 60 new jobs that we're aware of that are net new to the community in 2020. There's 160 projected in the months ahead. Again, only those that we know of. I mentioned the 1,000 unemployed in April. We ended the year, or at the 1st of December, we're that far behind 60 plus days in determining unemployment figures. We're down from 10.7% unemployment in Boone County to 4.5 on December 1. That is an amazing feat when you look at surrounding communities that are still in the 8, 9, and 10% unemployment. We are very fortunate. And from the 1,000 plus unemployed in April, and considering where we've come from, bounce back with all of our businesses, there are a minimum of 125 available jobs just in the 14 prime businesses today. Several have sign-on bonuses available. So we're moving forward. We're engaged in the community. Let me flip through just a couple of other charts. Jeff, if you'd go to the next on unemployment, that'll let you know where we stand. Again, we're at 4.5, well below Arkansas and the U.S. Job creation on the next chart. This is, and Jeff will be happy to provide you this. These are the by name businesses and the jobs that they have instituted and, in fact, our forecast with. The next chart is our prime business expansion. Just prime businesses. That's our 14 industries. Okay, next chart is our Main Street businesses. 3.3 million in the projects that you see there. You don't often stop to think that Integrity Health, who moved from an old rental location to a new purchase building, they spent $500,000 renovating and moving there and added an employee. The airport's spending almost $1 million in the extra tarmac and buildings. Look at those. You don't often hear about it, but we know for a fact 3.3 million in just expansion. Next chart. In January of last year, none of those projects existed. From January 1 through December, each and every one of those was a new business that came to Harrison.
Wow. You want to leave that up a few minutes?
And it's $44.5 million. Yes, some are still out there under construction, but the point is every single one of those has been identified as in place or planned. And by the way, those are only the ones we know about. Even in Harrison, certainly not in Boone County, do we have a tracking solution or a system. This is by word of mouth. What you as city councilman might tell the chamber, might tell the mayor, might tell the county judge, it's by word of mouth we learn about these things. And that's just the amount we've been able to identify. Next chart puts the sum up there. $64.6 million invested or planned to be invested in this community. That's up $6.3 million from the report I gave you in October. Next chart. A very real concern that's been identified, residential construction. Only 9 homes that we're aware of inside the city limits, no way to track this in the county, totaling about 1.5 million, some remodels. The next chart really identifies the issue. We had 1,366 homes listed on January 1, down 9.3% from 2019. The average list price is up. The number sold is up. The average sales price is up. Commercial, 199 facilities. Average list price is up. Number sold is up. The average sales price is down. Business took a hit last year. I want to show you a couple of graphs in the next 2 charts. The number of listings, look at the number of active listings from January through December. This is from the Harrison Region Board of Realtors. This is their data that they track. That's a significant drop. The next chart shows you the listings and the listing prices. Look at the fluctuation. Housing prices began to drop as people were selling in the initial stages of COVID, but boy, did it go back up. And the last chart, for those of you that are in the real estate business and have some investment in homes, look at the absorption rate. That is amazing. From over 5.5, almost 6 months, down to just a little over 60 days is how long a house stays on the market. And I'm sure that the mayor can tell you, Jeff Pratt could tell you, other realtors will tell you, it's not unusual for a home to go on the market at 8 a.m., have a minimum of 10 to 12 tours and visits in the first 8 hours and have multiple offers above the asking price by 6 p.m. That's not unusual. We've identified this as a critical need for the community, is available single-family homes. I want to touch on the next chart. I want to show you the agriculture update. There's not new information. We get it only every 2 years. We're still, as Secretary of Agriculture Wes Ward reiterated last week, Boone County is the largest single livestock producer of the 75 counties in Arkansas. That's substantial. Let me just go to the next slide and ask if there are any questions that you might have about what we've been doing in economic development, what your dollars have been going for, and make a formal request that we receive the first quarter funding for 2021. There will be an invoice over to Luke tomorrow.
Any questions for Bob? It sounded like a pretty exciting year. If it wasn't for COVID, we'd all be riding high. And, you know, I think when we go back and remember March and April and COVID, and I remember when we got the first call that we had a COVID case in Boone County.
Yep.
Man, it was crazy. It was a scary time. And then now today, I was just going to look up, but I didn't quite get there, how many deaths we've had.
72.
72?
Mm-hmm.
72, so one up from yesterday.
Right.
So 72 deaths, and all of us know some of those 72. So it's been, you know, there's no way we can look at 2020 as a good year in any way when you lose 72 people due to something like this. But As far as economics, I mean, I think we all have to admit we're totally surprised at what happened in that area, so.
We just have to be thankful as you read the national news, watch the national news, and you listen to the business owners in other states and cities around the country, how absolutely fortunate and blessed we are to live in Harrison, Arkansas, and see the success we've had.
Bob,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. All right, let's go down to any citizen comment. Jeff, anything from your world?
No, sir.
None. Okay, excellent. I'll go right down to mine. And guys, by the way, you all new people and some of the old, I don't know if I ever shared with you, I have a little teeny fridge in there that's always full of water and Diet Pepsi. And you're welcome to any and all you want. So help yourself. Usually we'll have coffee for Joel, but he's been bringing in his thermos. So I'd like to share two things with you. One is the safety building. Wade, are you with us still?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured you were. I was just going to share with the group the safety building. I know it's been raining, but everything seems to be going fine there. We'll try to keep you all a little more updated on that as the building progresses. But I know when the steel and all that goes up, it'll be exciting, and that's still months away. Do you have anything you want to add to that, Wade?
No, I mean, we're still working through, some value engineering, making sure we're getting the best bang for our buck. Site work, hopefully, if the weather, cooperates a little bit more in the coming weeks, we can start moving forward with more site work. But other than that, there's not a whole lot to update right now.
Okay. Anyone have any questions about public safety building? We'll have to start thinking about this building. I had one person contact me today that might have some interest, not in buying it, but a charity here in town. So we'll get all that together and we'll share that with you, as it comes in. But I know we're a little ways away from that. Okay, I've got something very important I want to share with everyone. We started probably a week ago, Christine, who manages kind of the COVID Facebook now information. And she was sharing numbers on cases. She's starting to share facts on vaccine. And hopefully she'll start sharing facts on where we can go. We have witnessed through media so many cities that have been confused and messed up because lack of communication, not knowing where to go, not getting the stuff in on time, and all that kind of stuff. I believe Harrison's going to be the exception to that. So what I want to do right now is read what I just received from Vince Least. He indicated there are 4 things he wanted to share with you all tonight, and this will be the first time this has been released. He says, we're in the process of developing a formalized delivery model to vaccinate those individuals who have been identified in 1B. 1B, that's the big one because that includes everybody over 70. Really, the general public. Up until now, it's all been, distinct organizations or departments, our police and fire, all first responders, medical people, and so on. And, you may have seen on the paper, I happen to have a little picture there with one of the people at the nursing homes. All the nursing homes got taken care of in this last 7 days, and it was amazing how the operation, I got to view that, and it was really, really good all the way through. So they're all taken care of. By the way, the nursing home I was at, they gave out about 105, and there was probably 110 people total. So there was only 5 out of 110 that did not take that shot. So I think that's good news going forward. So number 2, I quit with 1B, is eligible to receive the vaccine. This includes K through 12 and college educators, daycare workers, and then everybody over 70. Item number 2, the directive from the governor has not yet been released regarding this eligibility. His comments in the recent press conference, hopefully, it will be reflective of a directive to be released Sunday or Monday. Item number 3, and here is what I like. We will be releasing a formal press release within 24 hours with details of our schedule for clinics and methods by which individuals can schedule a vaccine. So within 24 hours, we're going to hear from NARMC how this is going to go down and who you call and the whole picture. So I think that's really important. I'm sure it'll, stop the presses almost. So item number 4, we are working in coordination with the pharmacies in our region who are participating in the vaccination program. We are developing a coordinated effort that will be made public in the press release. Finally, we will be waiting to review the details of the governor's directive prior to implementing our plans. So I think the big takeaway is in 24 hours, we're going to have information. I know we're all expecting this to happen by next Monday, and I believe it will. And I really believe this is going to take place in a fairly flawless process. I believe, simply because of what the preparation I think that the hospital and other people throughout town have taken. When it's almost like this will be the first of the vaccine because the others were given to, departments and so on. This will be the public, and that'll be very exciting. Any questions, folks, for me?
Get your shot.
I have not. No, I haven't. I won't even be able to get it next week, thank God. I haven't hit that 70 quite yet.
Mayor, what's the situation with our employees? How's our employees as far as COVID-19? I know Chris let us know he was sick, but is it affecting our city employees?
Yeah, we have, in this building, we have police over there, but downstairs we have accounting and we have administration. We probably have a dozen people there. I don't recall one, Luke. I don't recall one that has had COVID in what I just described. I may have missed somebody, but then when you go into the police department, yeah, there's been several situations. And I think Chris's was the toughest. He really had a tough time. Some of the others have...
How about Public Works? How are they?
Public Works, Wade, we're doing very well, but, it was interesting. There was one case over there in the building, and it was a person to which a lot of people communicate with every day. Wade, will you confirm? I don't think anyone contracted COVID from that person. Because
no, we had none cases from that positive, although everyone that works directly in that building was quarantined for a period, but follow-up testing, everything came back negative. So, it's an example that, we try to distance, wear masks, follow protocols, and it was an employee that, as the mayor said, is in contact with most people in that building on a regular basis. Was at work within the time that, they would have been expected to be contagious. So, while we've had a handful of positive cases through all of the different departments of public works so far, we've fared relatively well. We're constantly dealing with contact tracing and quarantines from, whether it's through work or people's family, kids, stuff like that at school. So we're always kind of jockeying how many people we have each week. But other than that, we've been able to maintain and carry on.
Good, thank you. Does anybody up there want to make any comments before we close? I know we have some other department heads on there, so if you do. Okay.
Jerry?
Yes, hi.
Jerry?
Yeah. David, hey man.
Yes, sir. Hey, I know we passed out the Chromebooks tonight for the council members, but I was gonna see if anybody wants, I'm just downstairs right now in the office, but I can come up there and help anybody with their Chromebooks if they need a little bit more time. I'd be glad to do that, so I'll come up there in just a minute.
Good, why don't you head up and,
He doesn't have a full day for me, does he?
have a full day for Mary Jean. Why don't you go home with her tonight and then come back, next month? All right.
Do you need to sign for this?
You know, I don't know. Do they need to sign for them, David? He's on.
No, I'm managing those through a portal, and I've assigned those to the user, so it's something we can kind of administer remotely if we need to. I can't take control of your screen, but I can go in there and at least deploy it or lock it or something like that if it's lost or anything like that. So I know which devices with which users, so we should be fine.
So guys, for you new folks that have been here, here's the most important part of our meeting.
Let's go home.
I had got to talk to our 3 new members.
Yeah, go ahead.
In the hospital beds the last time but I personally want to say welcome to Robert, Jeremy, and Larry.
Yeah.
And don't listen to what anybody says on the outside about the people working in this room around this table. We do get along with each other. We may agree to disagree, but we work our situations out in here, and hopefully the newspaper won't be running bad stories. The people that sit around this bench is important to me. Here in a few days, I will celebrate, and I'm not bragging, but here in just a few days, I celebrate 38 years of being with the city of Harrison. And the one reason I've been able to do this is on account of people that's been in this room for the last 38 years. And again, I want to welcome you and let you know that all of us older guys in here are here to work with you if you need us.
Okay.
Now can we go home?
Do we have a motion? So moved. Okay, thank you all.
That's my main job.
There you go, Robert.
Oh.
Okay.